conversations with people involved in the emergent church, we've noticed that although there are like core leadership groups, there's not usually one person who claims to be the leader and they want people to follow them. How important do you think it is for a church to have a central leader that maybe they can, you wouldn't want to say idolize, but that you want to follow no matter what and you trust them more than something else? Is that important?
What a very interesting question. I think the danger of single leadership with everything focused on one person is often in new religious groups the cult of personality and a kind of disproportion that comes in because of that, an uncritical attitude, or sometimes splits in a church because of personal tensions. I do think, though, that it helps churches to have an identifiable focus of leadership in another way. You need to have somebody who's accountable. And for me, the ordained public ministry of the church, in my own tradition, the ministry of bishop, priest, and deacon, is one way of saying the church needs to know where responsibility lies. And I think if the personal leadership of pastor or bishop or whatever is about responsibility, fine. If it's about the glamour of personality, big problems. And even where you've got responsibility, it has to be shared responsibility. I, as a bishop and an archbishop, I have to stand up in the synod of the Church of England and take responsibility to them and with them for certain things. I have to talk about policy and strategy and vision with my fellow bishops, and indeed with the priests of my diocese in Canterbury. So having an individual focus doesn't necessarily mean, as I say, personality cults and kind of monarchy. But it is a very interesting question. I think you're right that patterns of leadership in a lot of new churches look like a flatter structure. And that's no bad thing, so long as you know who is responsible for what. And my worry sometimes about some new churches is that you haven't got that spelled out clearly enough. And so when things go wrong, you don't quite know where to track it to. How do you learn from mistakes? At least, as I said earlier, with bishops and archbishops, there's always somebody to blame.